looking at a remarkable idea. An idea that has intrigued and attracted and literally thrilled thousands upon thousands of men, women, and children. And you, my friends, are about to witness this idea become a reality.
Good evening. Welcome to Sinister Inclinations, the horror show. This is our Halloween 2018 episode, as you can probably see. To my right is my co-host, Terry Sherwood.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Halloween show. And we have guests tonight, Jim.
We do. To Terry's right is making a return visit is Dave Trainor, speaking into a leather-faced microphone.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
That's his costume.
That's my costume.
That's his costume.
Yeah.
And to my left,
That's the other guest.
making a return visit as well, is horror author Melanie McCurdie, who is, I guess,
Writing horror.
writing horror. Yeah, but I mean, costume-wise, you're
I'm me with a flair.
okay. I'm Paul Simon. Terry, what's your costume?
I am a T-er, Jim. I see it in new ways. Perhaps to be a T-er is to see things in new ways.
Wow. Okay. So we threw this little episode together. We decided to do it on Tuesday, so these are just impromptu costumes and that kind of thing. So a little bit of set deck. So it's Halloween shortly, and
Or longly.
or longly.
Yes. I'm actually not in a costume. This is my regular clothes. This is not. I know that might come as a shock, and there's people giggling on the floor right now, going, "What is he wearing that?" But I'm going, "This is me." Yeah.
Actually, folks, we got you. This is Keith Coley dressed as Terry Sherwood.
Just a minute. Oh, it's stuck again.
So let's begin by talking about some Halloween movies.
No.
Favorites. What's everybody's favorite Halloween movie?
It's gotta be Nightmare on Elm Street for me. Freddy.
Really?
He's my first crush. Yeah.
Okay. Dave, do you have a favorite Halloween film?
Terms of endearment?
Yeah, well, that was...
There's
yeah.
Frozen too.
That's right. I'm trying to think which one's gonna. It has to be Halloween. Does it have to be
Halloween themed. Yeah.
Oh.
themed. Terry, you go next.
Yeah. That's a tough. It's like that's a really big subject. I'm going to toss a quickie, and one that I watched, and I think I noticed that you had watched it too, was Tourist Trap, which had Chuck Connors in it.
That's a Halloween movie?
Well, you could watch it on Halloween.
Oh, you could, but it's not.
And then it becomes a Halloween movie.
Well, let's talk about Tourist Trap for a minute.
Okay.
I believe that was like a 19... Oh, it's a very old film.
Yes.
I know Charlie Band produced it. Did you like the movie?
And what I thought Chuck Connors did a wonderful job in it. Like he was, we won't give it away for those people that have watched it and everything, or give it away to people that have watched it. Why would I do that? I would charge you. People that haven't seen it, I thought he had a real interesting dimension as a person of different intellect. Let's put it this way. And the way he moved, the way his voice and everything, it showed that he had some acting power there and everything. And he'd been around for a while. You know,
It was years after he'd done the rifle.
Yeah. it was interesting that some of these people ended up, these old cowboy stars ended up doing that. You had Rory Calhoun in Motel Hell, and you wonder if they got together and think, is this what we get stuck doing? After having our careers, it's work though. It's work.
Oliver Reed too did a horror film. Remember? Burnt Offerings.
Yes, and the Devils.
The Devils.
He did the Devils.
Yeah.
Burnt Offerings.
There's little Ken Russell, I think that was the Devils.
Yeah.
The Devils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Curse of the Werewolf, Hammer,
Yeah.
when he was a youngin.
Yeah, no, I thought the mannequins in the film were kind of creepy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And well done. The
Yeah.
motion on the mannequins and everything else, it was really, really well.
It was the best acting in the show too, wasn't it?
Well, Tanya Roberts was in there.
Yeah.
Who was?
Tanya Roberts.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
How would you compare that to like Puppet Master? A Puppet Master. Say the first one with the mannequins.
Well, I mean, obviously the mannequins and the little fellas are a completely different thing. I mean, if you want to take a little Puppet Master guy, you can move him along the floor. I mean, that's fairly simple.
Yeah.
But these mannequins were, quite sophisticated, I thought, for the day.
Yeah, and
No, we're talking a film from, it's the late 70s, I think, wasn't it?
they showed them sparingly and, very effective because often, empty space in horror pictures can be more effective.
The one where, somebody's chasing somebody holding one of those mannequins, and the mannequin opens his mouth and starts screaming. I'm like, geez. I used to have a thing, like a phobia for puppets when I was young. And, it still kind of creeps me out.
I understand.
Really?
Casey and Finnegan Horror Project.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian reference. But, I mean, for myself, I watched quite a few. Halloween, well, not quite a few. I revisited some and watched some that I hadn't watched before. I went back and, of course, rewatched Halloween, 78, which probably ranks with me as my number one Halloween film. Not a lot of gore, but it was suspenseful, and nobody had done it before.
Well, didn't need it.
No.
I think that's what's lost too right now.
No. And if you look back, go back to, it's almost like 12 years now. Or is it? 11 years ago when Rob Zombie remade Halloween. Adding the backstory of Michael Myers and adding the gore. It's a different take that I enjoy. But nothing beats the original for suspense. Jamie Lee Curtis's performance.
How old was she in that?
I think she was 24 or something.
It was like a first or second role or something. Not a first role. I think it was something else. But
Pretty close.
The bigger lead one, though, maybe was the first one.
Yeah, because then she went on to do Terror Train after that.
That's right. Yeah. Well, she was a horror queen.
No, she was,
Terror
She probably-
Train.
arguably the biggest screen queen incident. I guess, with the new Halloween, this is being shot on the day that Halloween's released theatrically, the direct sequel. I'm looking forward to it. What do you guys think of the idea of ignoring all the other sequels and just going directly as a direct sequel to the original 1978 film?
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, the other one's veered so far away, though. By the time they get to 3, I don't know what.
Yeah,
That was pretty odd.
yeah. You can look up a YouTube trailer called Halloween 60. It's quite funny, actually. One of the characters says, "You don't believe in the geezer man?"
Yeah, that could possibly be.
Who here has seen Trick or Treat?
Nice in the theater.
Yeah, what do you think of that? I revisited that. I hadn't watched it in a long
It's been a
time.
long time.
Yeah, I haven't revisited.
Yeah, no. I found it too long.
Yeah.
Not enough gore.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think back. I mean, late '80s film.
Yeah.
You think the '80s would have
More.
more? Yeah.
It was kind of a rock and roll horror.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta love the soundtrack. I mean,
Yeah,
I love the whole idea of a rock and roll based
Yeah.
horror film.
Yeah.
It just 15 less minutes would have done it,
Yeah.
and you just never feel for the kid.
Yeah.
He's being bullied at school, and that kind of thing. But you never really feel anything for him. It's like, I want that kid to get revenge. It's just, it's not convincing.
Because I was a kid from what's it called? What's that show called with Bateman's in it? Because he was in there, wasn't he? I don't know.
What, Arrested Development?
No,
No,
the one
No.
goes way back.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, the Michael J. Fox one. Yeah, because
What was
he
that?
he came in later, that kid, and then he went on to do that show.
Oh, not Family.
It's Family Ties. Yeah,
Family
yeah.
Ties.
He came in later.
Oh, he
later
was the little brother. Was he the little brother?
Mallory's boyfriend.
Oh,
He was brought in Mallory, and then he went on to do that.
do I feel left out?
Was it Singer? Singer or something? Yeah. Yeah, that's where his claim to fame was. He did Family Ties, and he went on to do that show,
Oh, okay.
that movie.
Wow.
I wonder if they'll revisit that as a slasher movie.
What, Family Ties?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
That
know
worked
why I
pretty
said
good.
I could totally see it.
Yeah.
No, I like the whole idea of a rock and roll horror film.
Yeah.
To me, that was. Well, speaking of that, I did receive a gift this evening that Melanie brought me, and it's the Playboy rock and roll, the Girls of Kiss rock and roll issue of Playboy. And
Now-
thank you very much for that.
Show the back cover for the women.
Oh yeah, for the
No.
women here, there's a man
Yes.
in underpants.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, we're equal opportunity.
They were not Depends though.
Zoomer magazine.
That'd be kind of odd, like a Depends thing. Not that we're getting endorsed by that, but
Man, do you have a problem pissing yourself?
That's right.
oddly,
Try
he
to pay. This segment is brought to you by Depends men's diapers.
yes, the ultimate in lazy.
We're all wearing them now.
Used by the astronauts.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so who has seen the Trick or Treat? Trick or Treat, the horror anthology.
No. I'm honest. Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay. Well, it's pretty recent, and you see a lot of there's a little scarecrow kid they call Sam, and it's merchandised all over the place.
Is that the little stick people from Blair Witch?
No.
Like that thing?
No, it's 4 connected stories, and it's pretty lame.
So.
It really is. I don't know what the big people go, ooh, trick or treat.
Yeah.
What's the big deal? There's one memorable scene, but it reminds me of a really shitty episode of Goosebumps.
Sure.
Is what it reminds me of.
Sure.
And that's the best I can say about it. And I think J.J. Abrams had a I think he had a production hand in that as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Oh no, J.J. Abrams turns to shit everything he touches. Sorry, J.J. That's my belief.
What about
Just look at Star Wars and Star Trek.
What about I watched a movie the other day called Holidays, because that's got Halloween stuff in it.
Yeah. What was the Halloween one? Wasn't it
Well, they're really loosely based on what happened in the Halloween one. Because it was Kevin
that
Smith.
was Kevin Smith that directed the Halloween one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, it was about a little boy or little girl.
No, he did the one with the girls watching cam girls. The girls watching. Remember they're watching the sex girls on camera and stuff like that. That guy comes to the house.
Oh yeah, they murder him.
Yeah, but I don't know what the quality that was supposed to be.
I don't know.
Maybe that was Halloween, because they were really loosely based on that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that film.
Did you? Yeah.
Well, there's certain segments of it.
Yeah.
There were certain holidays that were covered well, certain
Yeah.
ones. No.
Kevin Smith one I wasn't super impressed with.
No.
I was surprised.
Have you seen Tales of Halloween, the anthology?
No.
It was hit or miss as well.
So yeah.
Very hit or miss. I'd say half the segments are pretty good.
Yeah.
Half just fall.
Yeah.
So I watched Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
You took a spin through summer of '84, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, that was a Netflix, wasn't it? I think. Is it?
No, I don't think it is.
Is it?
It's a Canadian. It's Canadian.
It's
shot
a Canadian. Yeah, Vancouver or something.
Was that a new one or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a. It was
Not Summer of Fear.
yeah, it was it was a new one and everything, and it was kind of a new. It was a little like Stand By Me, you know, with the same type of a premise in it,
Really good kid actors.
but good kid actors. I shouldn't call them kids, you know, and
Teenage actors.
and an interesting little twist on whether you believe a kid or not, and not sort of the same fairy tale ending like, oh yes, he was right, but it was all of a sudden, yeah, here it is, you know.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. There are certain aspects of it, like that whole kind of imposed crush that the two have.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little unnecessary to me. I don't know. But the ending was well worth watching. I mean, it was, okay.
Yeah, and the male protagonist, or what it is, villain or something, another good job, a different look on how to do things, and it did a nice switch from the everyday helping neighbor to what happens. Yeah, and it's got a lot of good. I'm not going to call them kids anymore. Young actors, because they're not kids.
Yeah, like those young people from Riverdale.
Yeah, well, it's like the kids say, "Oh, you're a kid actor or something." Yeah, but I'm 37 and I'm playing 12. Because of the way I look. And I shouldn't really say that. So, but kudos to who directed that, who wrote it. Good dialogue, good situations, good production values, and just the way the overall look. Some people might think it's a letdown, but that's too bad.
Okay. Halloween movies. Well, I rewatched Pumpkinhead, which still holds up really well.
Pumpkinhead's really good.
Yeah.
I made a pie out of that.
Lance Henriksen was great.
Is it the next to Crust Man?
One of the best creatures.
You can have.
That's right, yeah.
Crust Man versus Pumpkinhead.
It's one of the best creatures in horror films.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best.
Yeah, you.
Really? Next,
that was a good creature in that.
Next to what?
Winston?
How do you
would that be? How hard would that be to recreate him?
Well, that's like you can recreate. There's a guy in stilts and everything. Stan Winston and all that stuff.
I mean, difficulty-wise.
I
said, "Hey, Dave, I want you to make me a Pumpkinhead costume."
That'd be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
How do you rate like Basket Case then? Did you ever see Basket Case?
Yeah, Basket. Yeah.
The first one.
The little blob guy?
Yeah. You can call it that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was more quirky, that show, then, which was good.
Yeah.
It had to be quirky, a bit quirky.
The Halloween-wise, there's so many that I didn't even get a chance to watch. There's one called Trick or Treats from 2015. There's ones from the 60s, the 70s that I couldn't find, or that I didn't do. The final film I watched was a film called Jacko.
The Jack-o'-lantern?
No, Jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
No.
I saw the poster of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest, the only way that I can review this film, it'd be like, reviewing this film is akin to being somebody who works in a medical lab, who has to check out feces, stool samples. And look what I found.
You don't have to work in a medical lab to do that, though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well,
just go to a dog.
Go to a dog park. Not all of us have our own little shops, Dave. But it's like, you're like, oh look, here's 95% of the cast acting poorly. Oh look, here's really bad child acting. Here's a script that doesn't even know what it wants to be. Here's terrible gore effects. And it's a dude walking around with this kind of jack-o'-lantern head that's lit from the inside, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's just poor. Fucking poor.
Speaking of that, poor, what was that one you told me to watch? The Camp Dread or something?
Oh, that was that the one that got sent the screener?
That was the one I wrote. You can see a more detailed review of that. I
read that review.
Was that?
I was direct on it, and I did not want because I don't want to bash filmmakers, and I don't want, because it's still an honor to receive stuff.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
when people send stuff, and
Well, the dude did say, just say whatever you want, be
Yeah.
honest.
yeah,
Camp Blood 3. Camp Death 3 in 2D.
yes, yes,
Camp Death 3 in 2D if you
yeah.
want to check it out.
If, you know, don't blame us. We're just, you know,
You know,
it's,
I'm trying to remember almost anything about it, and I, you know, if I've actually dumped the recycle bin on it this quickly.
the high pitch camp counselor guy, you
Well,
know, and the guy who kept he kept saying obscene dialogue for no reason at all. You know, sort of the tough guy. You know, you bunch of assholes. You know, and then
It reminded me of a film called Retarded.
I got nothing to say to that.
Yeah, Retarded. It was a
I seen that PBS or something.
yeah.
PBS.
If you like
It
Retarded
was the Learning Channel.
and other similar films, you can pledge now. For only $20, you can receive
Absolutely nothing.
Retarded on Blu-ray.
Absolutely nothing. But ridicule.
As I recall, the only good part was that Oriental guy was he supposed to be also sort of mentally challenged, singing that song about
No, this song on the bridge, you
Yeah.
know, about being hacky and slashy and
a very catchy song.
yeah,
Yeah, very
And-
nice.
yeah,
I may include it just after this in the edit.
yeah.
One
For
of my new favorites.
Oh,
for
yeah.
no reason at all. That was almost like the Forehead movie, the attack of the
The Trail of the Screaming Forest.
Trail of the Screaming Forehead, which was real, and it made you scream.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a Philip K. Dick story.
Right next to, you know, the Prince of Bunions.
The Tiger movie. What was that Tiger movie?
So, yeah, I mean, on Halloween night, I generally watch Halloween '78.
Yeah.
You know, and I will watch, you know, zombies, Halloween. But yeah, I mean, there's most of them for the most part are okay.
Don't forget Creep Show
Yes. Okay.
and Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
And Tales from the Crypt with actually no, I was wrong on that. That's Christmas. That was
Santa Claus one.
yeah, Santa Claus.
Yeah, Santa Claus with Joan Collins.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any Halloween segments or anything else, but
E.T.
yeah.
There's a Halloween
Hey,
scene.
why does it have to be Halloween? You know, too. You can be like well, of course it's Halloween. Episode,
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
you know,
I was gonna
and
say.
because you were talking about medical stuff, and I drifted back to the autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
movie.
That was good.
You know, and
What a great film. Suspense and gore, and I love that film.
yeah, and a lot of unexpected happenings.
I had a few jumps out of it. That was
Yeah.
very rare. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I for one had not watched I don't know what you call it, medical horror, autopsy horror type film, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be seeing a lot of gratuitous stuff, and what I saw was basically a pumped up version of Bones, in terms of the television series, you know, where you see more of the operation,
Forensic,
you know,
yeah.
and you're seeing more of you know what goes on in an autopsy thing. It wasn't rude.
I guess
Yeah.
for some people that would be scary.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
Brian Cox too. I mean, he's a superior actor.
Pretty good, yeah.
I mean, he's been in a lot of horror films.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like people forget. Like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen a movie called Red, and I don't mean the one with Bruce Willis. It's based on the Jack Ketchum novel
Yeah.
about a guy who he's out fishing one day and he's with his dog, and these young kids come along and for no reason shoot the dog. And you know, they don't realize that this man is a war veteran, and you know, kind of like prior to John Wick. You know,
that's like the Clint Eastwood film, one of the last ones that he did when he's he's fixing the car and
Oh,
he
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
Gran Torino.
yeah, get off my lawn.
That was one of my favorites. He's so curmudgeonly. I strive for that.
Well, what I enjoyed about it was the interplay between him and his barber.
Mhm.
You know, hello Polak. You know, hello I-Tai, whatever.
Yeah.
The way people used to talk,
Yeah.
but it's made, you know, it's fun. It's jesting with each other like
Yeah.
friends do. These days, you know, well, you know, hey, you can't show that. You know, it's ridiculous. So those are the Halloween movies I watch. Prior to Halloween is Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And so for Thanksgiving, I watched a movie called Thankskilling.
Family drama.
Yeah, no, it was kind of, more for the heart than the head. It was,
Hallmark.
yeah, Hallmark presents, shot and kill. You get a foul-mouthed turkey puppet going around and killing people for far too long a time. It thinks it's funnier than it is.
But it's not.
But it's not.
It's chiffon.
And to my surprise, there's actually a sequel called Thankskilling 3. Because I guess it's funny because it's called 3 when there was no 2.
Wow.
Precocious filmmakers. But it was bad. It was just bad.
Or somebody spelt it wrong on the poster.
Yeah, typo.
Oops.
Now we got to keep it.
Yeah, we better change it now.
But yeah, it was just a bad looking puppet too. I mean, you know, it's something you'd see in a very inferior trauma film.
Was it of a turkey or something?
Yeah, turkey. Yeah.
We had a good. Yeah, we should have got the puppet from
Before
Mr.
I,
Bean
you
or
know,
something.
it's like, you know, before I kill you, I want to see those tits. You know,
Turkeys always say that, don't they?
Yeah.
they
This is
do,
what
yeah.
I hear.
Yeah.
I have a question, a general one here. I'll throw it out to everybody. We kid about bad films. We kid about, like you were talking about, the bad puppets and the bad acting. Why do we watch these?
Train wreck.
Why
You
do
cannot watch it.
why do we watch these and then impart these things to viewers?
Well, why?
You know?
Wouldn't the more relevant question be why do they make them?
Yeah, there's that too, and
Because they can.
that was like that Camp Death in 3D or 2D or whatever it was. You know, I think that was consciously gone out to be made that way, as opposed to somebody like an Ed Wood, who thought he was, you know,
Okay.
How do we do that? How, you know?
No, because in a way, I mean, when we sit down, sometimes it's Susan Voorhees, Melanie, and I, and we sit there and watch these movies, and
They're
at a
awful.
certain point, we just start riffing Mystery Science Theater style because you have to.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
because
there's no choice.
you know, you get through the inane dialogue, the shit special effects,
Yeah.
all that stuff, and you're laughing.
Cracking jokes.
You're
The
laughing.
whole thing.
Really, you're cracking jokes at it because you have to. Now, this brings us to a movie. If we're talking bad movies, there was a fellow from France who thought he was going to make the next big slasher franchise. So he made a film that is very obscure now. Strangely enough, there hasn't been, you know, a DVD or Blu-ray release.
But maybe a Super 8
but
one.
It's difficult. It's difficult to
16
find,
mil.
and it is called Ogroff,
Yes.
the
It
Mad
is.
Mutilator.
It is.
Oh.
I'm going to let you two, before I start, you guys go ahead.
No. You've seen it? Have
Oh,
you?
yeah.
How many times?
Once was enough. it was enough. It bothered me. Not as much as it bothered Susan and Jim.
All right.
But it bothered me. I'm not sure what it is about it, but that's very distracting. It was just disturbing in a way I can't put my finger on. And
Neither could he.
badly made. And just everything was bad about it. But it was funny. We had great dialogue that should have been in it.
Funny. How
Well,
Yeah.
Gosh.
Funny is that I can understand that. I think what struck me first was this music, was this high pitched tone. you know, that was going on. Have you
No, I've never heard
seen
that.
it?
You
No,
haven't
you're
heard-
in for a treat.
Okay.
You're in for a box of treats for this one. The whole music, and I thought, okay, it's going to be kind of a little Night of the Living Dead
Yeah.
type thing. And then I watched the action unfold in various,
That's a funny way to
let's
put
put it
it.
this way, various lighting scenes that change.
One sequence, he's chasing a woman through a forest
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
But it'll switch from he's chasing her in the day,
Right.
and he's
It's
chasing her at
dusk.
night.
Yes.
And it's dusk, and then it's back into the afternoon. Little continuity errors like that, you know. And
Yeah. It was just-
you know,
And the woman, not poking fun at her, but maybe she was directed this way. The way she was running down, like you could have walked faster to catch her. you know. And obviously, English language dubbed screams.
very minimalist in terms of script, which was good.
You know.
I mean, every once in a while they had to tell you something, like, you know, oh, the police are investigating. So there's this dude who's wearing this funky mask and a toque. He's a lumberjack, a killer lumberjack.
And he's
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, and then there's
Yeah.
there's like that fucking axe battle.
He actually looks a
what
lot
was
like
that
you.
about?
And doesn't he? He look a lot like. Remember when he had the mask off and he's doing it? Looks a little like this.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He
Put
does
those-
not get the same body type and
I
everything.
didn't connect those dots.
Yes.
Oh.
That's when I connect the dots. That's when I draw the line.
I'm just gonna presume that most of you won't watch this movie because it is very difficult to find.
I'll
It's
watch it.
extremely difficult to find.
Watch
Watch
it.
it.
Watch
But I
it.
mean, but it'll be difficult for you to find.
Live it.
I'll just put it that way. Live it,
It's a
yes.
dream. You gotta see it.
But at one time, you think it's about just a mad mutilator.
Well, this is what the alternate title was, wasn't it? Ogre off and or
Ogroff,
the-
Mad Mutilator, or
yeah.
the Mad Mutilator.
And it's from France, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's from France.
So Jerry
And
Lewis is in it then.
that's it,
He would have
he's a
improved
genius,
it.
you know.
He turned the script down.
The Maurice Chevalier's in there too. But he's one of the. No, I shouldn't say that. But it looked like it was a 16 mil print.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it looked like 16 mil and or blow up of 16 mil.
And characters are introduced, you have no idea of who they are. Like when you have one couple park in the woods and get mutilated,
Yeah.
you know, and then the girl, I don't know, I kind of thought she might have been a cop.
That's what I thought.
Out investigating.
The dark-haired girl.
But
where did-
investigating two or three times. So
Yeah.
you kept getting the car pulling up and she
Yeah.
would go walking into the woods.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than watching someone walk through the woods and not find anything, especially in this movie.
Well,
So she has to come back.
the other thing too was this really odd moment when she falls in love with him,
Yeah.
and they spend a night or an afternoon in the bed, and she gets up. And of course, there's nudity in it, and she gets up, and he's turned away, you know, at the wall. But right next to the wall are these three axes, like these medieval axes, you know. In this,
Prosthesis, I think.
so
And there was the masturbation scene.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the
With
axe,
the axe handle.
yeah,
Our mad mutilator was laying there jerking an axe handle and
Yeah.
making odd fucking noises.
yeah.
Yeah, but so it wants to be a film about a mad mutilator. And then all of a sudden it becomes a zombie film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the end, they introduce a fucking vampire. You go, what? What? What is this movie about? And then you've got the bad sound.
Oh, okay.
I was joking. I'd love to pull the thing into my timeline and edit it down.
Do a fan version.
You might, yeah.
Ultimate fans.
Cosplay as Ogroff.
Yeah.
No, I was saying that to the girls. I said, yeah, you guys should go to a horror convention with a Olgroff Mad Mutilator costume, and if there's a hot woman who recognizes it, marry her.
Yeah, 'cause you would have to, because there's probably only about 10 people that have seen this.
Yeah, so Mad Mutilator, it's worth a watch just for the pure astonishment of it.
What year was that? Was that a
That was in the
just in case someone's
80s. It was shortly after the first Friday the 13th.
maybe that's what Dr. Internet's for. While we were talking, I'll find it.
Yeah, no, it was. So that was bad. I mean, that was. I'm going to put that on the bottom scale of the films. You know,
It has its special place.
it has a special place. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I'm not sure where that is, but it has its place.
How would you stack it up with that camp film? I will say it's better than the camp film.
Yes, I would actually say so. Only because. Okay, the camp film.
Yeah.
Okay,
It tried.
you can't spend money on special effects.
Right.
The special effects were, Dave, you look at them and go, wow, wow,
That good?
that good. You know, wow. You know, it's like Jackal, the effects. You know, it's just like they show some throat slashings, but they don't. You'll see a knife go, and then of course blood, but not very much, sort of thing. You know, it's poor. But they had enough money to recreate the chase scene on the anti-grav bikes in Star Wars.
Yes,
You got
they
enough
did.
money to do that, but you can't. Did somebody put something on our set, Dave? To your right, does that look like a green dildo?
No, that's for St. Patrick's Day, Jim.
Something that looks to me from here like a big green plastic.
Yeah, it does
dick.
actually. There's something we don't know. Did you lose your train of thought?
Olgroff was more enjoyable because you understood that the guy was trying to be really earnest and make a really good film.
I think it's a type of film you could probably watch for 10 minutes, turn it off, come back, turn it back on again 2 days later, and still go, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
What?
I couldn't stop
Yeah.
thinking about it for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, there's something about it.
From a filmmaker, because I was questioning the guy's decisions as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
It's like a big book that a big coffee table book you can flip around, put it away, and then bring it back and put it away.
But they were talking like 5 minutes of a girl walking through the woods and looking behind her to see if there's anybody there. You know, and you say, oh yeah, okay.
That's
Oh,
what
she's
it-
in a different area of the woods now. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's back.
Boy, she's going to be in great shape after this.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like,
Well, it's kind of odd, but I suppose it could be some people's taste. I think
yeah.
we viewed it, we enjoyed it. You should take a look at it just for.
Entertainment value.
Yeah.
I'll put it on a thumb drive for you.
If you had how long is it? About an hour. And,
It was
no.
90 minutes, was it not?
Yes.
No, it was something like 80. Wasn't it 80 minutes?
Yeah. It was. I saw,
Because we were asking, like, how can an 80-minute movie last this long? It just didn't seem to end.
was it 80 minutes?
I think so. It was 80, 85 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, definitely give it a watch if you want to have an interesting 85-minute plus evening. And bring some snacks. Sit down with your
Popcorn's
potato chips,
necessary.
popcorn, and just stare and just sort of let it wash over you like a brine.
Bleach up there.
It's like shifting maybe to a little bit of a well, not a serious note, but one of a little bit of a higher level. I watched Is There Anything Beyond Heredity?
Yes.
What did you think?
I'm going to let you guys talk on this for a bit because I have some different things to say.
Opinion. It's not very nice, sadly. I do think Toni Collette pulled it off in a way that, unless you've been in that kind of position, you cannot possibly grasp. A Woman Unhinged? Oh yeah. Grief and horror? Oh yeah. I had to turn it off because I couldn't deal with what I was seeing on the screen.
Mhm.
She's the only one that pulled it out, as far as I'm concerned. The rest of the Gabriel Byrne.
Gabriel
Byrne.
Yeah.
I was bored with his character. I really was actually wishing he get killed off. I was rooting for that to happen.
They could have got anybody for that role.
They really
Not a
could have.
superior actor like Gabriel Byrne.
I turned it down.
Did you?
Did you?
They never called me, but I turned it down.
Yeah, I just, even the teenage kid in it, they weren't believable. They just weren't believable to me. The horror was lackluster, I think. Some of the effects were cool. I have to give it that.
Yeah. Did you see it, Dave?
No, I've seen
Yeah,
pictures of the effects. So
It's to me, it was a typical studio horror film.
Yeah.
yeah.
It wasn't what I would call horrific. There's the one scene that I think you'll know what I'm talking about rooting for people.
Yeah.
With the child. That,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
horrible.
disturbing. I mean,
Yeah.
but kind of an odd looking kid too.
Yeah.
Well, it was a wonderful look.
Absolutely. But
to her.
She gave me nightmares, really. There
Yeah.
was something about that kid that just, it didn't sit.
Yes. For myself, I know there's a lot of hype on it, saying that is right, and I think you're correct in your assessment, Jim, both of you in it, about saying that it was a big budget picture and is getting big budget push and big budget hype. I'm going to have to say that Toni Collette, the woman, it was overacted, way overpower, and I think
You're right.
for the constant level of what she put out, I know in the beginning she's doing that address to, I think, the group, the encounter group or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's doing this, and then she does another one at the actual funeral when she talks, which I thought that was cool.
That was I mean, as the movie went on, it was too long.
Yeah.
First of all, certain parts of her acting in that role spoke to me personally. And like I said, unless you've been there dealing with it, it's always going to seem a little bit off. For me, it was not. It was sucker punch right in the throat with that. Then I got bored with it because it was the overacting with the supernatural stuff that made no sense. That part of it I wasn't fond of. I enjoyed watching other people suffer watching it actually on the plane.
I watched actually the last 40 minutes on a plane because I
my 7-year-old mother
couldn't understand it. Honestly, I thought her performance, but that's a directorial thing too, about it being very. It was one note in a lot of cases. You go up high and then you stay high all the way through the film, and there's no lull to present. And then to do different, and which is okay, because if you're doing something intense like that, but you're right, if you cut it, say, to 90 minutes, then you can get this. Gabriel Byrne's character could have been the accent to that. You have her way up and he's way down,
And he was, to an extent, where she may have overacted a lot of it. He didn't act at all.
Well, he was the reactor in this case. He was the person who delivers the silent, sort of the Penn and Teller type thing. You have somebody way up and somebody way down, which can work. The young fellow who played the son started out well. Very cool party scene.
Really
when he's there, talking to the kids and everything. We won't spoil it for you. And what happens at the party and everything, very logical and everything.
Absolutely.
Very logical, very well presented or something like that. Then the event. And after that, he becomes basically
He's catatonic, really.
down, shuffle up the stairs, sit in my room. Boom, shuffle up the stairs, shit in my room. Yeah. That's it. And then he gets reacted upon by the forces. And there was moments of it. The school bit with the head,
That
on the
was-
desk.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but the odd stuff. It seemed very much in your face with the scene when he wakes up and his mom is right on top of him,
Yeah.
or in the room and saying, I hate you, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
or whatever it
That
is,
was way over it.
And I thought, okay, this is not.
There's a lot they could have cut out of there.
And
that would have made it more enjoyable.
yeah,
Because I think now too they're going too long. I can't even remember what I watched on Netflix the other night. It was a 2-hour horror flick, and I'm like,
the news.
seriously.
Yeah.
But it was too long for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know I don't have the span of attention to last 2 hours. So if they could cut these ones down, they get a bigger audience because people would be able to comprehend it better.
I think they lost the story a little bit too. I don't know if you would agree with this. We won't tell you the ending or on it or what happens on it. There's an exorcist influence in it, very heavy. But they lost the story. The story was not between the woman, the mother,
right,
and the father. It was between reconciliation between the son and his sister.
Exactly.
That's the story.
And
that's who you face.
They lost that string.
They lost that. You got going on.
And the mother, and there's too much else happening.
Yeah, and then the little bit of Rosemary's Baby, with the pictures and the mats and stuff and everything in there. And, it was a big budget horror film. But the one, I know I'm talking a lot about what bugs me about it, besides it was very seamless, very direct, very good production values, but they used that opening scene with the miniatures.
Yes.
And they used it, I think, at the end.
Right near the
end. No purpose.
No.
No purpose at all.
There was a lot of it they could have paired.
Yeah. There's no purpose in that. That's a cool scene. I'll show that. Okay, why are you showing me this? Okay, she likes to do miniatures.
It had nothing to do really with the story.
Yeah.
And they focused a lot on those miniatures.
Yeah, I got this great thing. I thought I was going to see like a little figure move or something, when the diorama,
or something
and the diorama, and I thought, oh, okay, no, okay, no. Why am I seeing this?
Or could they be setting you up because it's it's like a trope?
Yeah.
And you're expecting it to happen, but it doesn't. And they're building up to. They're misleading you to get you to the big scare.
I thought
it would have been nice if there'd been a big scare, though.
The use of that, though, was I thought was that it's an enclosed world, an enclosed wooden world, and I thought this is the world we're going into. That would have been cool if you would have went right in on a drawer in the kitchen, say the diorama, and then you came out and you were in the kitchen,
something
like that, and you're like,
are you people taking notes?
Like that. That's just my personal point of view. There's probably people out there that liked it, that haven't seen it. I don't want to ruin it for them, but it's big budget, seamless horror.
It was too dark, too, I think. The lighting
you think?
Too dark.
See, these films.
It was hard to see for me.
But these films like that, though.
Yeah. I didn't notice any deficiencies.
These films, though, they appeal to the general audience, not necessarily to the people that go to horror pictures. And they get people in,
right?
Which is okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that was from my point of view. Sorry, did I go on too long?
No.
It was hereditary on my part.
I'm thinking that maybe now we should talk about a good film.
Okay.
Why don't we discuss Blood Paradise?
Oh, yes. Blood Paradise. Yes. Go, Jim.
Well,
I babbled on enough.
Blood Paradise is a film that's just got distribution. I was
saw that.
Texting with Andrea and Andrea. And it's not a high-budget film, but you wouldn't know it. They select their locations meticulously. It's a beautifully shot film. the story of a novelist with a writing block who goes away to try to, as a writer, you'll understand this, goes away to us to get away from everything and maybe get her muse back. Goes to a farmhouse,
Yeah.
basically. And what unfolds from there. I love the film. I hope it does very well, and I believe it should. If it's marketed correctly, it's a great movie. It's doing a lot of festivals right now, bigger festivals too, which is nice.
It's full length too, isn't it? Yeah, it's full length. It's full length picture.
90 odd minutes.
Yeah. We did a detailed interview with them.
Yes,
that you can
Sinister Inquisitions. If you go to our website, you can see an interview with the writers, the star, and the director. That would be Andrea Winter and Patrick von Barkenberg. Check it out on cinink.ca.
Yeah, and there was so much to like about it. So much. There was not much you could dislike about it because it just left you with a really nice feeling about it. The way that it was when they said, "Oh, this is this is a low budget, so don't worry about it," and everything. I go, "Wow, this is low budget." Just the shot selection, the use of the backgrounds, the person, no bad acting in it. For people, well, remember when in the interview, one little tidbit was one of the people in it was her father.
Yeah.
Her grand,
the person who plays the farmer is her dad. And
First
her mother's
time.
in it too.
Yeah, her mother's in it, and and there's so much. There's some artistic moments in it.
Very darkly humorous.
Yes, I think I mentioned in my interview about a fresh roll of toilet paper has not been handed so directly to somebody, and directly in such an amusing way, and when you see it, it's like, okay, and who could forget the latex leather in the beginning?
Yeah. Patrick and his form-fitting leather. Yeah.
Yes, and
very nice couple too. They're just wonderful, down-to-earth people.
Yeah.
She's a supermodel and all that. And
peaches and cream and blood all
she
together.
studied at the Strasbourg Institute.
Lee Strasberg acting, and did a lot of stuff. And
superior independent production in every way.
You were raving about the cab driver.
Well, they got this guy who's her ride. He gives her a ride around when she needs to. And
he's a fan. He's a big fan.
He's a big fan of hers.
Yeah.
And the guy is so organic in the role. You've met the guy. In fact, with a lot of these characters, like, we grew up in Alberta. We know farmers.
They're so.
Yeah, and basically everybody was as they should be. There was no, heavy caricature, like a villain with a little, pencil-thin mustache or anything.
There was that guy, though, when she's walking down to the river. The son sort of rocking back and forth on his...
But even then,
He sounds fun.
But it's an interesting way he does it, though, and what happens. But you were saying about... what was his name? Booby. Yeah.
Klaus Booby, I think.
Yes. Yes, could you sign to Booby or sign by Booby? There's a line. And then this bizarre wife that he has that keeps birds.
Every character is so interesting, and I definitely recommend that you watch the interview because it's an insight into how an idea goes from the head, from inspiration to paper. And through a very meticulous shot list, and being very conscious of the shooting days that you do have and staying on budget and that sort of thing. But the end result is fantastic, and I would recommend Blood Paradise to you. You'll be able to find it soon.
Yes, and speaking of that, though, some of the other filmmakers that we helped out, well, they helped us out. Janine is going to be showing her film Chimes that we talked about. The short film Chimes is going to be at the Edmonton Festival of Fear.
Yes, coming
And
up
it's
on the 27th.
27th. Yeah, down in Edmonton, but it's been all over, practically all over half the planet, you know. And this is what,
Come to Edmonton last.
you know. But she's going to be in Edmonton for the screening.
For about 6 days too.
Yeah. I sent her. We'll get into that off camera.
Well,
So,
yeah. So yeah, I mean that was a great film. And while we're on the subject of great films, have you seen Mandy?
I when you just said that, I thought of Barry Manilow.
Yeah, Mandy, the film that came without taking, starring Nicolas Cage.
Oh Lord.
No, I just thought when you said I just went Barry Manilow in my head, you know.
You're not alone.
And I've often thought that.
Oh Mandy,
even
you
in the room.
you gave without taking.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's not just a show; it's an education.
Is a sign language there?
Well, that's what you expect when you're a TR.
But Mandy is a superior film in every way. It's the best horror movie I've seen in a long, long time. Nicolas Cage. You got Nicolas Cage. You got a tagger. You've got a chainsaw fight. You've got the supernatural. You've got this great, weird cult leader. Everything about Mandy is wonderful. And it has been so long since I saw a movie that I enjoyed that much. And it's crazed Nicolas Cage, too. You know?
It's not going too far.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you know,
Maybe
but...
that'll be okay.
Oh, Mandy. Yeah, we'll have to watch it.
Yeah, because I want to see that one. And what was it, Blood Paradise?
Yeah, well, we can watch those. And for our next movie night, we have 2 films coming up. And they're both called The Sadist.
The Sadist.
The Sadist. Yeah, one is a 2015 film starring Tom Savini. And the other one is a 1961 film starring Art Hall Jr.
You should add the third one. There's one. I like Art Hall.
Art Hall Jr.
Oh, not you know.
The kid who looks like a Cabbage Patch doll.
I was attacked by coleslaw when I was a young lad, so I don't. Cabbage Patch dolls frighten me. You know, it could be a boll weevil inside of it or something. No. There was another one. You can look it up later. Lex Barker was in it, who played Tarzan, and it had sadism in it. I will look it up, and you can probably add that.
Okay.
So
I'll just kind of go through a couple of these films that I rewatched. I went back and watched a remastered copy of The Beyond, Fulci's film, that I quite enjoyed. Again, you know, it's very superior. And stay tuned here because you'll be able to buy Beyond merchandise. Details coming soon. A good. Well, I mean, it's Fulci at his best. So, I watched another film called Dead Night. And Dead Night is a film starring Barbara Crampton. And Barbara has been doing so many good films lately. And this one, she plays the main kind of antagonist. And, oh, it's good. It's just a recent film. It just got released not too long ago. But it's great. She does such a superior job. She's at the top of her game. And I congratulate Barbara Crampton because she's picking and choosing her roles very, very well. She looks great. Her acting is wonderful. She plays a female politician, but more. So it's very, very, very enjoyable. I really loved it. I won in a raffle. And I'm sure you guys I've seen this film, Frankenhooker.
yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. That's Tim Burton, isn't it? No, no, it's Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie. So
Close.
yeah,
But, yeah.
yeah. I thought for the Frankenstein legend, why not? It's almost similar to one of my favorites, The Brain That Wouldn't Die.
Yeah, I won a very nice copy on Blu-ray in a little raffle, so I revisited it for the first time in many years, and it was as good as I remember. Good effects, good acting.
If I could toss that in when I was looking up the thing about your sadism thing, it's called The Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism. Lex Barker is in it. Christopher Lee. A count, Christopher Lee, suspends a baroness, Karen Dorr, over a snake pit and puts her lawyer, Lex Barker, under a pendulum.
Well, I hope the pendulum's sharp, because lawyers...
Well, I guess so. I guess I'll have to watch that now.
It is actually, the year of this is 1967.
Okay. I will watch.
That sounds like fun.
6 out of 10.
Okay.
6 out of 10.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to watch that.
And actually, YouTube has has the film.
You can watch it on. You can watch it. Give us
yes.
that title again.
The Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism. However, YouTube has changed.
Oh, with their stupid commercials every 5 minutes.
A little thing, so you might have a problem watching this if you don't mind pushing a button. But Amazon has this available, and I will find out what it is.
Well,
Amazon.
See, I want to get everything that I have off of YouTube and put it onto DTube. DTube is privately owned, no censorship. They won't add commercials.
Yeah.
You actually, when you monetize, you actually get paid.
Holy wow.
Yeah, and
Hear that?
This
YouTube?
gets 3 stars.
yeah,
3
but
stars.
and there's a lot of videos going on DTube right now. And I've been trying, but every time it's got the same user interface as YouTube, so it should be fairly easy.
Mhm.
I choose the file to upload. It says it's uploaded. And when I go to publish it, it says, first you have to upload a file. So it's been there's some bugs being worked out. This is fairly new. So I'll keep
Yes.
trying, and we'll move Sinister Inclinations and all my, any HGB entertainment videos to that.
Yes, and for those of you,
Because YouTube, you can fuck off.
What he said.
what he said just goes for himself.
Lady Dracula, have you seen it?
No. I'm direct. I'm sorry.
No, I watched it because
No.
I'm trying to remember the name of the actress, and I can't. I'm going to first discuss a movie called Goliathon, also known as The Mighty Peking Man. Have you guys seen it?
Tarantino. Or something.
Well, it's by the what are the two brothers?
Oh, not the Shaws?
The Shaw, yes, it's a Shaw Brothers film about these guys who go to an island, an expedition, and they discover a giant gorilla. But there's also a very beautiful sort of Tarzan woman who rides a tiger. So I thought, geez, I've never heard of this actress. So I watched. It brought me to Lady Dracula, where she has a role.
Okay.
Simply one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Unfortunately, she passed away at a very young age of heart failure. But Goliathon, for all of its silly effects, like the giant things, and stock footage, and not a very believable gorilla.
Who would have thought?
But it was quite enjoyable. I really enjoyed The Mighty Peking Man.
Lady Dracula. You mean referring to Evelyn Kraft?
Yes, Evelyn Kraft. Yes, Yeah, she passed away from heart failure. I think about 40 years old. It was kind of sad.
Let's see.
But Lady Dracula, yeah. Well, what do you say?
Died June 13th, January 13th, 2009. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Evelyn Kraft. That's all they have of her listed on here. Mind you, I haven't really gone deep.
Well, her IMDb is
So,
uh,
1951, she was born.
51 to 2009. That's
Yeah.
pretty young.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lady Dracula was kind of tepid. It was. It almost reminded me of low quality Amicus film. The Lady Dracula, it has sort of a sensuality to it, and they play on that. And this female vampire comes back to life and kind of starts, falling for this modern day police inspector. It's not very good. We'll just say that. Now, next on my list is one that you've seen. I know that. Another Canadian film called Pyewacket.
Yeah. How did you pronounce that again?
Pyewacket.
Pyewacket. Yes. An interesting look at insanity, I guess you could call it that.
Mm-hmm.
Very believable female lead actor in it, and just the way that the relationships unfolded in the film. Some people might think it is low key, but it wasn't. You don't have to be hit in the head with an ice pick to die. You can die. You can die lots of different ways. Not that I want to, but I don't know why I brought that up. But it's Halloween, And I thought the use there was spirituality in that too, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
Yes.
Yep.
In that.
I just thought it was a great film.
Yeah.
And like you say, it doesn't have to be over the top or anything.
Yeah.
It's a very good supernatural.
That was like Steven Soderbergh's, I think I told you about it, called Unsane.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that movie at all.
Sorry?
I didn't like that movie at all.
What?
I didn't like that movie.
What?
No, I did not like it. It just, the best you can say about a film is it was shot with an iPhone.
Yeah.
That's the best I can say about it. That's the highlight of the movie for me. I didn't enjoy it whatsoever.
I thought with that one, I think, again, you're looking at the character. You're looking at what she does.
But it didn't intrigue me.
For the move. For a movie, she was a believable person. She wasn't a pretty girl, was she? Like the pretty horror, like the thing, the overpowering, sometimes Scream Queen's look and everything. Not that that's bad, but it brings in box office. But this was a different story. If you didn't like it, well, it's more of a study of madness. I think another one that was very low key.
I found it interesting to take on it. The rest of it I wasn't fascinated on, but the story itself was interesting for me.
A lot of, getting your identity taken and everything, and how you could start off, you're walking in there for something else, and you end up,
Exactly.
you're all of a sudden, well, I just came in for a hangnail, and why am I going through this machine?
Why am I in a wood chipper?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, let's take a short break, and we'll be right back.
She wants me to go to a farm in Sweden.
I don't think you should go.
I have to go.
You're Robin Richards.
Yeah, I am.
I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to be creepy.
little chamber music.
A little chamber music. Oh, that would be nice, but where are the musicians?
Locked up in a little chamber. But I can summon them. Oh, they make such very soothing, quiet dinner music. You'll love them. We call them Kiss.
Oh, not unless you brush your fangs.
Okay, boys, play something a little peaceful for Mr. Lynn.
Hello, I'm Andrea Winter, and you're watching Sinister Inclinations, the horror show.
Hi, welcome back to Sinister Inclinations, the horror show. With us this evening, with Terry and I, are Dave Trainor, special effects guru, horror author Melanie McCurdie, and this is our 2018 Halloween special.
Yes.
And Paul Lind isn't here.
Actually, he is. Circle got the square. I'm gonna take Charlie Weaver.
Oh, you wouldn't. Okay, so Dave,
Rosemary the Block.
Before we continue on with movies, we got a couple of emails, and Dave, these are questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one is, Dave, before your career as a special effects artist in the film industry, did you ever make any of your own backyard movies and practice doing homemade special effects?
No.
That's the long answer.
I worked with people that actually went on to do movies. A fellow called David Winning, actually, he went on to do some Star Trek shows. He did stuff on Star Trek. I never did makeup or anything. I wasn't really into makeup till... I always liked makeup, like the Hammer stuff and that, but I really never got into it till about 15, 16, that sort of stuff.
Never made any Super 8 films of your own?
Oh, actually, no, we did do. We
Dave
did,
the Man
no,
Mutilator?
We used to do karate Bruce Lee ones. That's what we did.
Oh, martial arts.
Yeah, martial arts ones we did. Because every kid knew martial arts in the 70s.
Did you put brown face on to affect
That's right.
Asian?
He was playing Jim Kelly or something.
I can see you in an afro wig.
Right.
Did you punch, what is it, the side of beef to get that side effect?
That's
or
right,
that
yeah,
sound
that's right.
side effect?
Yeah, Foley work. Yeah. So there's no movies we could put on here and show your early efforts, or?
Oh no. Friends of mine made films. I did a bit of work on, but I was in my 20s by that point, stuff like that. So.
No, yeah. Well, of course, then there's The Final Sacrifice. So
That's right. Yeah, it's Final Sacrifice. Yeah.
yes, rest in peace.
Yeah. There's actually a film called The Eye of Sarek. It was a John Fawcett film.
The Eyes of Sarek.
The Eye of Sarek. And
Oh,
it
The
was
Eye
like, it
of
was like a
Sarek.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. We worked on that. I was probably in my 20s. The director went on to do. John went on to do Orphan Black.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Orphan Black. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Well,
It was a feature. It was 90 minutes, and he screened it at Sir Winston Churchill. And
Wow.
I thought I did makeup for props on that show or something.
yeah, he was Ginger Snaps. wasn't he?
Ginger Snaps too. Yeah.
That was, you do all three, or just the first one?
Just the first one.
Just the
yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
And the writer went on to be a
Damn
writer
good.
on Mad Men and stuff like that. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Who'd
Gee.
have thought?
who'd have thought? And here's you on Sinister Inclinations.
Yeah, you've gotten up in the world.
Um,
our viewer thanks you.
That's right.
that question comes from Kelly in Seattle. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dave? No.
Dave's not here.
Who do you idolize as a special effects artist, and what is your all-time favorite effect kill that they did?
Oh, favorite kill. Yeah. Well, Rick Baker's always my favorite. Dick Smith, like the old school guys. Kill. I don't know. I don't know what would be my favorite kill. I don't know. There's a lot of them.
It's kind of an unfair question.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Yeah.
Dave, what was your 16th favorite?
Yeah. Well, I remember the first show I seen that killing in it. I quite liked. It wasn't very well done. It was the Omen, when the guy gets David Warner gets his head chopped off the plate. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
but when you watch it now, it's not very good.
I was thinking of the spear one.
The spear one too.
The
Yeah,
Spear.
that movie had quite a few.
Patrick
stuff.
Troughton.
With the pane of glass that slides
Yeah, the
down.
pane of glass mostly with David Warner and stuff like that. I always remember that. I don't know why.
It is.
I think a lot of the Friday the 13th stuff too. Tom Savini stuff was good. I remember all those kills and that sort of stuff.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's from Chris from Edmonton. Thank you. Have you ever performed special effects that require people to be lit on fire or do firewalks?
Ooh, good question.
No, that's actually a special effects artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really
Yeah,
makeup.
Well, it's just gel.
That's
right?
It's
Pyro
gel,
guy,
pyro.
right?
Yeah, pyro. Yeah, it's a
Pyro
pyro
gel.
guy. And
Yeah.
It's kind of split now because a lot of makeup guys don't do that anymore. It's more special
Well,
effects.
yeah, like Hereditary.
Yeah.
Well,
CGI flame.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Joe Thornton one day,
Yeah.
a producer friend of ours, was on a shoot, and it was in winter time, and they were at a far, fairly out of reach location. And for whatever the circumstances were, he had to put on the gel and be set on fire.
Well, you're saying that, yeah. It was really cold out too. It's like -40 or something.
Yeah. So I thought, I would do that. I would. Because,
Absolutely.
just for the experience of it.
Well, I did fire effects for yours, for Blood Mania.
Oh, the fire
Flame
effects.
bar. That's the only fire effects I ever did.
Do you want to know a secret? We'll tell you here before the deluxe Blu-ray comes out worldwide very soon. The flame bar
looking
was
it up.
about, what, this long?
Yeah, about that long. 4 feet.
about-
4 feet or something.
About 4 feet long.
Yeah.
And it had holes.
Drilled out every hole that they
Yeah,
drilled.
Dave drilled out holes into it.
Yeah.
Sealed off one end, and the other end was attached to a propane tank from a barbecue. So, after setting up the camera for the shot, putting it in frame and everything, the flame bar was there, and I guess we were supposed to have it was shot on the Tsuut'ina Nation Reserve, and I guess we were supposed to have the Tsuut'ina people there.
Were we all? Maybe.
But wasn't it like 4 in the morning?
It was pretty late, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty dark. Yeah.
And we just thought, fuck it.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just with a lighter, turned it on.
Yeah.
Smoke machine started to go,
Yeah.
and yeah, that was it. Just it was what is it, $40 or something to make?
Yeah, well,
that?
$40. Found on the internet how to build it on the internet, on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my fire. I've done after burns after people have been burnt, but I've never done actual fire effects.
Okay.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it was really that was a fun night, wasn't it?
What
Yeah,
did
it
you
was-
do
yeah,
today at work, dear? I got burned.
And the team's on fire.
I remember, was it you or Ashley that was pumping the blood for the hand?
Probably Ashley was probably in there.
Yeah,
She was doing
and
all
I've got the hand, and I'm moving it back and forth on this nail,
that.
and that was like 3:00 in the morning.
Morning, yeah, yeah.
And I think Sonia was sleeping on the couch because we've been there since I think 11 in the morning.
Morning,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
It was a long day.
Yeah.
Because they were doing all the windows in the barn roof were being covered.
Cover and stuff, yeah.
I think I got home at 6 then.
Yeah, I was pretty.
Yeah, I was driving back to Calgary like just yeah.
No, not like that though. Like you.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. All right. So okay, there's one for me. Okay. That last question was. Scroll here. My phone keeps wanting to turn itself off.
Whose last question was?
It was John from Edmonton.
Okay.
Okay. Here's a
John
question.
from Edmonton.
John.
I have a room named after him.
So do I.
In fact, we all
love
do.
you, John.
Yes.
Question for James. It seems like you and Herschel Gordon Lewis really hit it off filming Blood Mania. Unfortunately, your friendship with him was cut short by his passing. If he were still alive, what feature-length film would you like to collaborate with him on? Well, Herschel had a feature script called The Stainless Steel Butcher. It was also known as...
The Gore Machine or something?
No, it was Mr. Bruce and the Gore Machine.
Gore Machine or something, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you read the script.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that title.
Mr. Bruce and the Gore Machine. The script it was written many years ago and would have required intense revision. And actually at one point, Herschel and another writer got it down to like a 20-page script.
Yeah.
But it lacked everything. I mean, it's a story that demands that you flesh it out.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be short.
Yeah.
There was that. Blood Mania 2, Carnage was the working title.
Yeah.
And shortly before Herschel's passing, we had reached out to Eli Roth. Herschel understood that, I mean, like even to me, Herschel lied about his age. He was 2 years older than the actual age that he went by. So, I mean, the man is in his 90s, you know, and if Herschel was going to direct all 4 episodes, you know, you're looking at a 28, 29-day schedule of long days.
Yeah.
But Herschel would have come and directed too.
Yeah.
We wanted Eli Roth to come in and co-direct with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Because those long days would have gotten him.
Yeah,
The man was 91 years old at the time. Eli got back and said he was going off in a different direction at the time. And I think his film, which film did he made a non-genre film. But and then the next thing we did was I spoke to Tom Holland. And Tom Holland really wanted to do it, but his schedule was completely booked up for the next year.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we left it. But Blood Mania 2, or I just simply call it Carnage now, the working title, will see fruition. You know, it says at the end of the credits of Blood Mania, you know, the old James Bond thing, Herschel Gordon Lewis will return. So, yes, there will be a Blood Mania 2. I have 20 introductions to episodes by Herschel that have never been seen by anybody. So it's going to happen.
Yeah, written by some brilliant hack.
Yeah, this guy wrote them. So yeah, that's something that we would have done down the road. Unfortunately, age was becoming a factor, and as was clearly pointed out by the events that followed. But yeah, we would have, and Herschel Gordon Lewis will live on. I think between Jim Maslin and myself, Jimmy Maslin owns Herschel's original library. I own Blood Mania, and I own the likeness and name Herschel Gordon Lewis. So he'll live on. Somehow or another, he will live on. So that's the best answer I can give you at the current time. So you never made I'm surprised you never made little films. I want to see one. Do you still have one of those martial arts films?
No.
I didn't ask if you had homemade porn.
That's a whole different story.
That's a whole. I see what you did there.
Yeah. It was a chop sake too.
What was that bad film?
What was that bad film?
No, with the karate scene with the woman fully nude. High kicking and stuff. And I'm going, wow, I can't even remember the name of the film. But speaking of films, we left off with Pyewacket.
Yes.
The other ones I watched, one of my favorite films, foreign films, is a film called Wither, which is really, a clone of Evil Dead. I'm surprised that they weren't sued. I've mentioned it before on this podcast. They're made in Sweden by Stockholm Syndrome Film. And I watched We Are Monsters and Blood Runs Cold. Their first and second films. Very good. We Are Monsters, not so much. The story I found it to be a bit lacking. But Blood Runs Cold. Very good gore effects. Very good story. I would highly recommend them to you. You can find them. They're not hard to access. So that's We Are Monsters and Blood Runs Cold.
We Are Monsters, for me, was not really a horror picture.
Not as such.
It's a crime.
Yeah, more of a crime. But
have you seen that? Have you seen it? It's a crime. It's a crime film, and it's a pumped up crime film. And if that's what you want, that's okay. And yeah, there was some stuff with the chainsaw, the wood chopper, and it and everything. And yeah, there's the revenge thing, which was similar to that other one that you pointed out to me. And the name escapes me. It was, and that's not the name of the film. That would be a good name for a film.
The name escapes me.
Yes. It was about the woman who goes to the desert with her boyfriend, and they have a good time, and they meet those 3 drifters that come in, and they stay in that big fancy house, and he leaves. Something happens to her. She gets trekked out into the desert, and
I'm getting to it. You mean Revenge?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Revenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting to that one.
Okay.
Okay. So, the next film I watched, and this one is a horror comedy, and I mean that in the true sense. It's called One-Eyed Monster, and it stars Ron Jeremy. And it is Ron Jeremy plays himself.
Do you want to rephrase that?
It's so many self-referential things, he's still a porn star, and, he's got an aging girlfriend who's a porn star, and there's something alien that happens, and all of a sudden, there's like a one-eyed penis monster. Ron Jeremy penis monster, so it's not small. There's so many funny little scenes. One where he's positioned himself in doggy style behind this woman, and they go, "Okay, we're ready to roll. Ron, can you remove your sweater?" He goes, "I'm not wearing a sweater." A very enjoyable film, well done. And I think you'd probably enjoy the penis effects. They were actually quite. No, I mean from your particular eye, for effects. I mean, I thought it was very well done. But I laughed throughout the thing, so I mean, it's worthwhile to see. It's an absurd premise, but it's just a lot of fun.
So, how many pricks does it rate?
Yes, 5 balls on the 5.5 testicles. And the next one was going to be Revenge, which was Revenge was a French film, was it not?
Yes, it was.
It's
a co-production. I think it was a co-production.
It's a new film. Very typical. I mean, that kind of story goes back. I mean, as far as I spit on your grave.
Yeah, it brings final girl. It's final girl type thing.
Woman getting revenge on those who wronged her.
And not much has changed in those. Again, that's become a storyline, a cliche storyline that's used, but it's how you execute. No pun intended on that, But the redeeming points in that, the confrontation in the house at the end, with a lot over the top.
Great gore. Great gore.
The fall, the fall that she does.
You have to suspend your disbelief at that point. I mean, you really have to believe that somebody could survive that to begin with, and why? We were asking so the whole thing, like, how is she even walking? How?
Yeah.
Is she not bleeding out? How is she not getting infection? How, there are things that, but if you can suspend your disbelief in that, then that's all fine. It's really a great film. The 2017 film.
In that fall, though, Christopher Lee in Dracula Has Risen from the Grave did the same fall, and he didn't survive. It's that style. Yeah,
definitely. But
it's hard to let go.
Or in Scars, he went off the edge. Of course, he was struck by lightning there. Giving that away.
When I first started watching, I thought it was going to be your typical sort of independent film, made for millennials.
Yeah,
because of the music she dances to. And she's kind of a little ditzy sort of model type. And, but then her, once after the fall, it's almost like this radical personality shift, and then the human predator comes out and the will to survive. And I thought it was very well done.
There was a scene in it when she wasn't in that struck me sort of as a general thing. It was when they're waiting for her beside the lake. And one guy goes off on a little all-terrain bike or something and left the guy asleep in the truck the night before. And the guy's asleep, and all of a sudden, I think this deer or something like that slaps against the glass. Yeah. And it scares the guy. It scares him. You see the blood on the glass and everything and whatever. That was scary. Okay, that scared him, but finding the dead bodies didn't scare him. And that was kind of,
that wasn't believable.
You got to jump from the deer coming, on the glass here, but not from the human body. And I thought, is there a little bit of a little bit of subjective? We're changing. She's less than this. All this kind of stuff going on, and okay. She's less than the animal.
I'm going to have to watch it again.
Symbolically, I guess you could take that. Yeah.
Well, it was very abrupt, it was very, because you're sitting here, and it's not because of the way it's cut or the music, the way that it was used. It was just all of a sudden this, and then they get out and they find floating guy. I think it was floating guy. Yeah. And it won't give that away, but.
I thought the boyfriend role was very well played. Mm-hmm. He was enough of sort of a rich prick, and he brought it off. And the one guy that suffers the most, the one who actually physically assaulted her.
Yeah.
the traps she's laying and stuff for him as he's walking and stuff. And some of that, there was one scene I watched, and it was a brutal gore scene. And it's one of those ones, again, where you feel, like, from a guy's perspective, you feel your nuts going up into your chest. Like, not scary, but like, oh, so well done. Like, it was really good. I mean, I highly recommend that film. It's very good. 2017 film. It's called Revenge.
So Patrick
Revenge?
Wayne and you ever seen The Revenge one with Patrick Wayne and
No.
John Carradine? It's one of the worst films ever. There's boom shots and everything. And they have a whole scene with John Carradine telling the whole story. And you could tell they're inside of a trailer because there's all wood paneling. And there's no reason why he's got wood paneling. And he's like this. He's got glasses on and he's reading the cue cards. It goes on for like 5 minutes. And you can tell he's reading cue cards. And they just brought him in for the day and he's just kind of reading the cue cards. And Patrick Wayne's and stuff, John Wayne's stuff.
There's synchronicity.
Yeah.
That movie I was talking about, Jack O'Lantern.
Yeah.
They brought John Carradine in for a day.
Oh, did they?
To
So
play
it's got to be
this,
very old then, yeah.
He's playing a wizard.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's almost incomprehensible.
yeah, he got pretty bad near the end.
Yeah, you know, you go, well, why are you even here? It reminds me of I can't remember what film it was. Have you ever heard John Carradine singing "Night Train to Monafindo"? Or
No, yeah.
oh, it was from a movie that Mystery Science Theater did.
Yeah.
But yeah, just think of John Carradine singing.
Yeah.
It's, oh. I can't even. I gotta break a smile here.
I actually could, because actually in real life, when he was in his prime and he was a young actor in the 40s and everything, he was Shakespeare. That was his thing. And he would go walk Hollywood Boulevard in a cape and a top hat, spouting Shakespeare to people and irritating them. That was his thing. He was the quintessential, you know, the brim hat. Hello, my good man, with the cane. And he'd do that whole thing when he'd go into people's offices for jobs. Because he wanted to do, he had a renowned Shakespeare company in Hollywood. And Orson Welles, he was connected with Orson Welles at the time, too. And because they all wanted to do this touring thing. And he went and did it. He did Shakespeare by night and went off and did these pictures during the day. So,
Awesome. I love that.
yeah, but he used to walk Hollywood Boulevard with his cane, spouting dialogue.
I love that.
You know, of course, then as Hollywood Boulevard, as you know, that's okay. You're just another one. You know?
10 feet down.
Yeah, go down. I remember I was there actually, and I went to a place called Larry Edmonds Bookshop on Hollywood Boulevard, and there was a guy standing next to me. I was purchasing a couple of things, and if you ever get to Hollywood, see Larry Edmonds Bookshop. It's on Hollywood and Highland, and there was a guy next to me in sideburns. The bridge said they'd call. I guess they did. The guy standing next to me, full of Elvis hair, a red serge suit, and it was like 80 to 90 degrees out. And he was asking for something, you know, mumbling something to the guy beside him. He interrupted me and then moved off to the side. And I kind of looked at him, and the guy went, "It's Hollywood." Yeah, you know, like a red serge suit. Totally jet black hair, you know. You know, like that was that was interesting. One of the interesting moments, but we won't go into those things. So,
For your edification and those in the audience. So, you know, there's some certain things I can't even believe some people do. You know, and that was from a movie called Red Zone Cuba, which is one of the worst films I've ever seen. You have an opening credit sequence that's from an entirely different movie. They bought stock footage from another movie, put it in, and had no relation to any of the action that happened afterwards.
Is that a problem?
No, it added to the enjoyment, really.
I mean, that was worse than Leonard Nimoy doing Proud Mary.
Well, almost.
Apologies to Leonard Nimoy fans on that, but
there's no need to apologize.
I'm sure he doesn't know it now.
Where is love? Come on. The next movie I revisited was
That's from Oliver. That song.
Yeah, I know. Leonard did it so wonderfully.
He did it.
Oh, yeah.
He did.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I kept. Yeah. Okay. Wow. My heart skipped a beat.
I revisited a movie called Society. Have you ever seen it? From 1989.
No.
Directed by Brian Usna.
I blame society though lots of times.
The great Brian Usna, who of course did Reanimator, and yeah, Revenge. It had some good effects, and it was your typical '80s, late '80s film. Lots of sex, titties, kind of some sort of creature effects that were typical of the period.
Yeah.
Where people start transforming. It was actually not a bad film, and it spoke about the whole how society is run by an elite group of people who control all the money and everything else, who are essentially evil. So that was a good movie. I think it just got released on Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
So it's worth checking out. It's got Billy Warlock is the lead in it, who's, more probably famously known for his role as Frankie Brady on Days of Our Lives. But that's just trivia I know. Which brings me to another movie. And we watched this one. Okay. The horror author Edward Lee wrote a story called Header, which was made into a very, very low-budgeted film. The premise being, you got a guy who gets out of prison, and he wants some revenge, and he goes to live with his old, crazy grandpa, he was wheelchair bound or something, wasn't
I think so. He had no legs.
Yeah. Anyway, boy, if you want real revenge, you got to do a header. Well, what's a header, Grandpa? So he goes and has his grandson go and abduct this woman, knock her out, take her back, and they proceed to use a drill. Or was one of those circular,
hole saws?
A hole saw, yeah, on her head, and then he fucks it. And at one point, he's even lifting up his old crippled grandpa so he could have a header. Yeah, boy, that sure was a great header.
Come on, the grandpa was fun.
Well, the grandpa, in a hillbilly sort of way.
Sort of creepy and that sort of thing. He was comic relief, anyway.
Not a bit of acting to be found.
Who would have thought? What are you looking at?
It was so fake too.
Libby probably turned that role down.
Well, you
turned the role down.
Alec Guinness was probably supposed to be on that, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
as a grandpa.
Yeah, a lot of the financing fell through when Alec Guinness left the project. Yeah, but that's the second one. You got Headless. I don't know what it is about fucking heads. Headless. I mean, they decapitate somebody and fuck them up the fucking windpipe. Like, what is this? Edward Lee's got this thing. I don't know what Edward Lee's, big fetish is.
Gee, what do you think it could be? Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a very, very indie shot film, very poor quality to it. Yeah. No acting skills to be found. Not even a funny song. Save this one. No, but it's the grandfather's performance was funny.
I
but
get
I mean,
no
you know,
That was the like saving grace, I think. So.
like even the sheriff. Yeah, she was found, sheriff, with a hole in her head. That sounds to me like it was a header. What's a header, sheriff? It's just,
It sounds like a bizarre episode from the Andy Griffith Show.
yeah, exactly. A header is where you drill a hole in a woman's head and fuck her.
Floyd the Barber. That's right, Andy.
Come here, Opie.
We're I don't know why that came to me like that. Here comes Warren.
You're not gonna be able to unsee it.
Yeah. My whole body's a weapon.
Header.
Yes.
Okay, and I went back and I rewatched Castle Freak.
Okay,
Did we not watch it?
Miss Crump.
Castle Freak was a good
Helen
film.
Crump. Yeah.
Again, Barbara Crampton again, and Jeffrey Combs. Very
Social.
Is he getting old, Jeffrey Combs?
well. I think we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're older.
Yourself.
We're all older. And
I had to ask
Jeffrey. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's. I believe he's 68 or something.
I meant visually.
Yes, he's starting to look a little older.
Okay.
You know, I mean, he could still pull off Herbert West, I think, with a little hair application. We were talking earlier about this. Are you tired of male pattern baldness? Remember those commercials from Ronco?
Yeah.
Spray painting the fucking head? Okay.
Take off your shirt or your sweater.
And,
Yeah, it's pointless, I know. But
and
you love
moving
it.
on, before we move on, let's take a short break.
Halloween night. A small American town. 15 years ago. Michael? Halloween.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. I think he'll come back.
Exploring uncharted territory.
Totally charted.
Just talk.
Sure. The only reason she babysits is to have
Halloween.
Come on out.
Halloween. The night he came home.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We're on.
We're here to investigate a
patient that killed 3 innocent teenagers on a Halloween in 1978. He was shot by his own psychiatrist and taken into custody that night, and has spent the last 40 years in captivity. Hello, Michael. I have something you might like to see.
Everyone in my family turns into a nutcase this time of year. Yeah, I mean, your grandmother is Laurie Strode. She was almost murdered.
Wasn't it her brother who murdered all those babysitters?
No, it was not her brother. That's something that people made up.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him.
Dad, look out!
The bus crashed.
Mom, what bus crashed?
Michael escaped.
Excuse me, somebody's in here.
Hello?
He's waited for this night. He's waited for me. I've waited for him.
Get out! So long! Get inside!
You don't believe in the boogeyman?
He's here!
Michael! You should.
Can you close the closet door?
Testing 1, 2, 3. We're on.
We're here to investigate a patient who went on a killing spree in Halloween of 1978 and again 1988.
We know.
Right. After the 2018 massacre, he was brought here and has been incapacitated ever since.
He's been chained to a block, held at maximum security.
Worse. Bad hip. Needs a replacement.
Oh.
He even has some arthritis. Osteoporosis.
Hello, Michael. I have something you might like to see.
Everyone in my family's getting sick of this time of year.
I mean, your great aunts, sisters, cousins, nieces, grandma is Laurie Strode. She was almost murdered 3 times. And one time, she was actually murdered, but was somehow resurrected.
Wasn't it her brother who murdered all those babysitters?
Yeah, well, it was her brother for 39 years, except for the 40th year, when everyone decided it was just a rumor.
You know, I prayed every night that he would escape. Again.
What the hell did you do that for?
So I could kill him. Again.
Did you take my beer? Dad, look out!
The Accessoride crashed.
What Accessoride crashed?
The one with all my friends, headed to Atlantic City. Michael's escaped. Again.
Excuse me, somebody's in here. Is your hearing aid too low? I said somebody's in here.
Hello?
He stays up late on this night. He's always waiting for me. I I've always waited for him.
Get out! Go home! Get inside!
You don't believe in the boogie geezer?
No! He's here!
Michael Audrey! You should.
Can you close the closet door?
My name's Russell Jeffrey Banks. Hope you check out Who's Watching Oliver. Keep watching Sinister Inclinations.
Hi, welcome back to Sinister Inclinations. We were gone a long time.
But for a good time.
We're discussing movies that, I and various people have watched here since the last episode.
And they may be of interest to you.
Or may not.
Hey, I thought of an idea, and you may think this is silly. People that see this, they may think, hey, these people are talking really fast. It's because we are. But if you want a list of what we watch, email us. Yeah. If you want to know more about them, email us. We can throw out some stuff, and it's another way of contact. You may like us. Tell your friends,
Share it around social media.
Yes, we have fun. That was self-promotion.
Shameless.
It was shameless. What were you saying here? You're still sticking with your list?
Well, yeah,
I was gonna.
I've got a few to go through.
I was going to toss in. Do you see Mara? It's a new one.
Mara. No, I don't think so. What was it?
No, it was basically another story. It's a story of sleep, not sleep deprivation, a demon that comes to you in your state of sleep. And it's about if you get what's called somnambulist paralysis. You are in a dream state and you can't move. And this is when this person, Mara, arrives. And it's a story of a young detective who runs into her. It's a new picture. It's 2018. A little bit derivative. It's a good procedural. There's a lot of good police stuff in it. But again, it's another demon story being invoked from sleep. But it could be of interest to some people.
Was it well done?
Yeah, there's some good. Again, there's some good acting in it. There's a lot of money on budget. The children, and they are children in this case, because she's investigating a murder that involves children, and they're wonderful in it, like very true to life. There's a moment when she's trying to relate to a young girl, and they're underneath the bed. And they're talking in the coloring book and everything, and she's trying to talk to her and bring her statement out and everything. Is trying to do this. That was pretty cool. The other one, there was a new one called Truth or Dare, which is exactly as it sounds.
Oh, that was bad. That was Blumhouse too.
Yeah.
Jesus, I hated that movie.
Yeah.
It's like a Madonna or something.
No, it was.
Yeah, it's a silver book.
See, I even forgot to put that one on my list.
Truth or Dare?
Forgettable. Yeah.
That it was.
And they set it up for a sequel. Can you believe it? It was boring. Nothing happened.
I think I gave it a miss.
What could be the sequel? Dare Again?
Yeah, Truth or Dare Again. No, I found it boring. I found it predictable. I found annoying actors, an annoying cast. Is what I thought. There was nothing about it that satisfied me in any way.
Why does it have to be Truth or Dare? Why couldn't it be like Ramoli or something?
Blackjack.
Yeah, I'm,
A haunted, yeah.
Or
A haunted sorry board. Yeah.
Or Yahtzee.
Yeah. Yeah. If you
Haunted Yahtzee.
Yeah, if you roll if you roll a Yahtzee, you die.
Haunted Yahtzee dice.
Yeah.
I came up with one
Holy
about.
fuck, there's a movie.
I know I came up with one about the
forced to play Yahtzee.
the haunted diaper.
That's a little true.
But the haunted Yahtzee dice.
Yeah, well, no, yeah.
And they go through various. You pick them up in the secondhand store, and you go to various stories about them.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you could. Yeah, it'd be like something like Jigsaw, capturing a bunch of people
and the
forcing
title
them to play Yahtzee.
The title is Unholy Rollers. There it is. But you heard it first.
If you steal that idea, just give us some credit in the end credits.
Yeah.
Haunted Yahtzee.
And now we get Milton Bradley will be on us. Or whoever developed it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Of course, we jest, Milton Bradley Company.
Yes.
We jest.
We jest at Milton and Bradley. Yeah.
So having been on a little bit of a Barbara Crampton kick, I went on to watch Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich, the latest Puppet Master film. It was pretty gory. Pretty good, pretty well done.
Mm-hmm. How does it link with all the sequels? There's 6 of them, isn't there?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all basically a lot of the same toys. And Too Long is in it all the time. Charlie Band has that fascination with little things, menacing.
Is Udo Kier in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Udo's in it.
Udo? Was it Udo? Udo.
Udo.
I'm going to get in trouble with him now, too.
It's not Udo, for sure. Yeah. So, it was just another Puppet Master film. But it was, I mean, if you're going to spend some time, Puppet Master films are, I mean...
We'll pull your strings.
If Charlie Band gets remembered for anything, it'll be the Puppet Master series,
I don't know. I haven't watched them yet.
Hey, I got a question when you're talking about franchises. And maybe people out here, you might have seen this too, Dave. The Anarchy series. What is this? The Night of Anarchy, sanctioned violence.
Oh, The Purge?
The Purge, thank you.
The Purge.
Yeah. What are they like? What are they like?
I like them.
So just 3, 4, 5?
There's a limited TV series right now, too.
Yeah.
What's the premise on it?
The premise is, because society is
so overwhelmed with crime, there's no one in the jail.
Mm-hmm.
One night a year, you can go and kill whoever you want.
All crime is admissible for 12 hours.
Okay.
Anything.
That's kind of like the news today. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
I could get away with that.
Stories of the different people.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're vignettes, or it's not one continuous.
No.
The first, I was going to watch the first one. I have it down, but I haven't.
I enjoyed it.
It's usually about people trying to avoid what's happening, getting killed.
Okay.
By crazed people who are not white.
Isn't it Ryan Phillippe or whatever his name is?
Ethan Hawke wasn't in the first one, or
Is it?
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me I could go out and give me a header?
Just the sequel is probably called Footer. For those of us that write a bit. You'll never be able to do that and not laugh now.
The next film is an Irish film.
Yes.
Called A Dark Song.
Yes.
And it is good. It's a little slow moving. It's about a woman, you don't know why, but she's looking for somebody who can do black magic.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I remember that.
Yeah, and she wants to go and
It's her son she was.
well, yeah.
What are you not telling me?
Yeah, but she has to go through a ritual, getting through spiritual cleansing, all sorts of things, with this black guy who's done it before, the black magic ritual. And I prefer to call it like the dark year of the soul, because I think the movie takes place in about the course of a year, and what she has to go through, and what and the ending is so wonderful. It's just a superior, laid back. There's only one real scene of gore that kind of gets you, like, oops, okay. If you find A Dark Song, it's a really good film. I've been recommending it to people for the last
Most
6
shocking
weeks.
part of it was when they had tea at 3. That shocked a lot of people.
That was good acting.
Not
too.
if you're Irish, though.
Because basically, there was only 2 principal characters. Moving along, The French Sex Murders, a 1970s film. You know, the site that I go to find these films.
Yes,
Eric.
yes.
And there's films that you've never heard of where you go, oh, I think I'll download that.
Yeah, and
The
then
French
why?
Sex Murders was actually not bad. Again, it's sort of a giallo film, but it was believable and well worth your time.
There's always room for Jell-O.
What Cause is saying right now?
So
he's being serious and I'm around there.
Exciting news for me is that Rob Zombie's making a sequel to The Devil's Rejects.
Yep.
3 from Hell.
With Clint Howard.
Yeah, with Clint
Really?
Howard.
Yeah, Clint Howard's in here.
Clint Howard?
Yeah.
This is Baylock?
Would you like some Tranya?
Yeah. I had Tranya in Vegas when they had the Star Trek experience there. You can go to the restaurant, you could order all these things, and everybody wanted all this next generation stuff. And I want Tranya, please. Ooh. That's what I got. Yeah. And some Klingon waiter, a Ferengi guy at the cash or something like that.
Best served cold or warm cold. Yeah.
I thought about that too, and I thought I'd like my hamburger cooked, please. But no, that was when the Star Trek experience was on in Vegas. That was interesting. It was good.
We printed up that United Mixology Guide.
Yes.
The United Federation of Planets back in 1984.
Yes. There was. I remember there was a drink in it, and for those people that have watched the original episodes. Xenite gas.
Xenite gas. Yeah. We had Romulan ale.
Xenite gas was like a bunch of taco chips or something, and tacos and peppers, and you emanated xenite from you after you had this.
That was a Taco Bell, isn't it?
Yeah, it was some. I forget. I don't think anybody would be crazy enough to actually use any of the stuff we wrote. He'd probably be dead, or blind.
Always go back and revisit. I've got one.
Oh, you should maybe offer that for $200. You get this photograph.
Yeah.
You get this book.
eBay.
Yeah.
So, being a big fan of The Devil's Rejects, I decided there's, what was that awful? The Witches of Salem?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Very good.
Oh God! I went to a midnight screening of that. I was actually laughing through it. Well, at one part anyway. I thought it was porn.
Oh, yes.
So I thought, well, okay, I still haven't seen 31. So I watched 31, and Rob Zombie, apart from the Devil's Rejects and Halloween, he's got this concept that it should just be weirdos killing people. The gore was okay.
A quiet place.
Again, not much of a plot to 31. It's just more Rob Zombie, gratuitous violence. Really, that was my take on it. I didn't really enjoy it all that much. I mean, it was convincing in with the gore and some creepy moments because the characters are creepy. And of course, it's his wife that survives. Of course, So yeah, I hope that I'm really hoping that he finds his form again.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, with the sequel to
Well,
Devil's
they're not really
Rejects.
horror films like that. I always thought the Devil's Rejects was like a Sam Peckinpah film or something like that.
Yeah,
Peckinpah then
yeah.
was actually horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a copy of the Wild Bunch director's cut.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I haven't seen it yet. That'd be fun.
All right. Which brings us to a double feature we had one night: Blood Fest and Blood Feast. Okay, let's start with Blood Feast, shall we? The remake of Herschel Gordon Lewis's classic film. Everyone touted this movie. You know, oh, it's by some acclaimed German director is doing it. Oh, good. Well, you know, I kind of know my horror. Never heard of this person. That's just me.
Who was it?
So anyway, it starts.
Werner Herzog, wasn't it?
You have to look it up.
Is it Werner? Werner. You know.
Yeah, just look it up. But so it starts out well enough. You know, you've got actually Herschel doing his dialogue.
So
that was from the trailer for Blood Feast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, and there's the warning. You know. So, if you've seen Blood Feast, you know it's a story of Fouad Ramses. You know, who, because of the goddess, starts to feed people human flesh. This movie, we were 40 minutes in?
At least.
And nothing had happened? And
I started to doubt there would be anything.
well, it promised so much, and there was so very little gore in it. I was astonished. And Herschel actually makes a cameo appearance as a Dr. Gordon, who on a Skype call, you know, oh well, yeah, you know, this is the lore kind of thing.
Marcel Walls.
Marcel Walls. Yeah. So anyway, there was so much talk about this, you know, oh yeah, it's going to be distributed in 40 theaters across the United States. And then it was going to be 240, and then it went to direct-to-video streaming. I've never seen a review of it anywhere.
It says here that it was played at Fright Fest 2016 in Hollywood.
Well, okay.
Blood-based.
Well, there's a review right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't, I go by the groups on Facebook and everything. No one's mentioned a word about it.
Yeah. You have to beware when you say on the net somebody will find something.
Oh yeah. But I mean, so Blood Feast was a total disappointment to me as a Herschel Gordon Lewis fan.
Somebody named Ishtar?
Yeah, the goddess Ishtar.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and there's really only one scene of real gore. Really, it's not.
There was nothing to scream home about.
Yeah, it's just not exactly memorable and quite slow in places.
Yeah.
Blood Feast is just another horror film in a very crowded genre.
And I can tell you one thing. I know, and Herschel, did make his cameo. But then again, that was Herschel. If you paid Herschel would do it. He was all about the money. He loved money, and that's not a knock against him. He sold off his catalog, and he regretted it, because he could have been much more wealthy. But he told me one day, he said he had never liked a single one of the remakes of his film, because they lacked the satire. They, and 2001 Maniacs, I didn't mind it. It was gory, and it was, but again, it was only so. And actually the sequel to 2001 Maniacs, that didn't have Robert Englund and Bill Moseley took his place, was trash. Just awful. Yeah. Which brings us to Bloodfest, which is kind of like it came out before Hellfest now. Yeah. Basically the same movie, I think. About a big horror festival, and people start to die.
The church is trying to stop it or something.
Yeah, but it's pretty gory, but a lot of it's CGI. The Asian kid from Spider-Man: Homecoming plays basically the same role as he does. The nerdy guy who's trying to
Be the hero.
Be the hero. Yeah, and I fear this man will be typecast. I really do.
It's very sad, but
it's very sad. You know,
that happens.
It's a movie for folks with an attention deficit. Would you say? You know, I mean,
teenagers.
It's a teenage film. Yeah, it's not particularly good. You know, I mean, the story's okay.
There's something wrong with targeting that market, though. If that's what you want, if that's what you're going for.
No, but do it well.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I'm just
I think that's what it came down to.
Yeah, or
it just wasn't done well.
Sometimes look, you know, hey, maybe we can, you know, we have to go for the 12 to 15 audience. We better put this in, that in, this in.
Well,
you know?
With the rating system it is now, you don't have half this stuff.
You know, and
I
maybe that's what they were targeting.
I
Who
think
knows?
they were targeting the 20s to 30s. You know.
That's changed.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, it's...
Same age group, really.
12 is the new 45.
Sorry.
It's true.
Yeah, 20 is the new 12.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, some of the individual kills, the practical effects were pretty good. But when you got, like, mass kills, the CGI was so apparent, it took you right out of the film.
Yeah.
You know, and if you haven't, you know, the last 15 minutes, you should have it all figured out.
Yeah.
Because it starts to become pretty apparent. You know, if you've seen film, you know what's going to happen. Really not. I hope Hellfest is better. Put it that way. So Bloodfest, not so good. Blood Feast, not good at all. And that same night, did we not watch H-Roz?
Yes, we did.
Okay. H-Roz is a Mexican film. And unfortunately, the copy that I could find was in Spanish with no subtitles. But you didn't need them to get the gist of it. If you've seen torture porn, you've seen H-Roz. Susan Varese, Melanie and I were watching this movie. And there comes a point where there's a woman in a basement strapped to a chair.
Yeah.
And we couldn't tell whether she was transgender or like it was a cross-dresser. We couldn't tell. So he strips her down and takes a knife and starts whittling this giant hole in her breast. And when he's done that, he pisses into it.
Yeah.
And then the camera pans down and you see that this woman, guy, whatever, has her bowel is released. And so the guy's reaching down and grabbing the shit and he's smelling it through his gas mask and lifts his gas mask and he's tasting and stuff. And we just looked at each other and said, oh, that's enough.
Yeah, rubbing it in the wound.
Yeah, rubbing it into the wound and stuff. You know, and it was, I couldn't watch it. I just thought, well, this isn't even a horror film. This now it's about human degradation. And I don't need to see it. You know, I mean, I went through that phase where I watched August Underground and everything else. There's got to be an audience for it somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is, but I just can't. I can't do it anymore. There's nothing redeeming about it.
Yeah.
You know, and you go, well, it's horror because like it's so real looking. Yeah. And it was. The effects were wonderful. In terms of, you know, like how good they looked, and you know, and at one point, you know, are you watching Mexican snuff here? You know, because you begin to wonder, you know, because it was that good. And the thing was, it was well lit. With a lot of these things, they're not very well lit, so you can't, you know, see how shitty the effect is. You know, let's talk American Guinea Pig series. You know, shot on fucking, you know, low light. But yeah, I couldn't watch H-Roz. It's somebody's cup of tea, but it's not mine. It's somebody's cup of pee.
What about the Antichrist? Do you like the effects on the Antichrist?
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, they're more motivated than anything.
Yeah. So basically, we've covered. That's the movies that I watched prior to the Halloween special. Anybody else see anything interesting? Did you see anything that?
We were talking about filmmakers before, and we can't forget Katrina Gray.
Yes,
the other film. Yeah, the Daytime Nightmare.
Daytime Nightmare is coming out. The trailer should be out pretty quick.
Yes. They're doing final edit now.
I believe so. It's in, Yeah, it was in the final stages of post.
Yeah.
Well, that can go.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
what if we change this?
we did an interview with her, so we'll put her out. We have
Katrina Gray,
Janine, and of course, we had the other one that we had mentioned too.
Patrick and
Andrea. All of these things can send us your stuff, and we can chat about it. Maybe not necessarily in a complimentary way, but it's criticism. It's fair criticism. It's not, vitriolic. I'll use that word. How about that?
Yeah.
Very good.
We there's some that we didn't get to this time around.
Mm-hmm.
There's just after Edgar Allan Poe's birthday, there's a movie about Edgar Allan Poe that we will review next time.
Yes. The French call him Edgar Poe.
And did you?
It's true. It's true. They call him Edgar Poe.
John Cusack did one too.
Yeah, he was actually good as Poe.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah.
I thought he was excellent, Edgar Allan Poe. Was there not one that you watched with Dean Cain?
Yes, I did, and I'm going to defer that one. Right, but there is another one that I watched without Dean Cain, Grace the Possession, which is a Canadian film. I wrote about it on my site, I don't even know how to say it. Night Trade Visions. It's a Canadian film. It's a possession film, naturally. Difference with this one is it's shot entirely a female POV. And everything is female POV in it. Some people will say that, there's an exorcist point of view on it, which of course it is, because every time you do a possession film, that's what you're going to be measured against. But there were some really good moments. I detail it a lot more in the article. She goes to a party, and first of all, she comes from a very religious family, and she has to phone her mother every night and hold her Bible and pray when she's in his dorm. And of course, naturally, you have the promiscuous other female roommate there, And of course, everybody, when you go to university and colleges now, you drink, because that's all you do, right? And it's a big bar, it's a big school with a bar, And so she goes to this party. You don't see her. You're walking in a point of view. She has her first drinks, gets a little high. You see her kind of sort of wobbly, not like the Blair Witch where it's like all over the place. Goes into the can. You see everybody, all the vomit you see in a can and everything, because it's what it is. But what I found striking about it, as a guy, you see what it's like to have all these guys look at you in this type of an environment. The part and everybody coming up to you and talking to you.
It's very evident.
If you get a chance to see this film, it's a I think it was 2013, I think it was. And the director, I don't have it handy, but it's on the website. They do an exorcism, her POV and everything. And you're sitting back there, the priests are there, and you see the legs like this, and you're seeing everything happen and what she does. So the only time you see her was a lot like a noir film called Lady of the Lake. Robert Montgomery did it, and the only time you see him is in the mirror. Yeah. And you see her in the mirror when she's combing her hair, and that's it. The little side glances, and some people will say it's just but the way that it was done, it was pretty cool.
Interesting take, and I think that's what needs to be seen too.
Yeah. Yeah, some jump scares in it, but that whole thing and then when she's getting involved with her university buddies, they're asking her to play tug of war and beer drinking games and everything. You get it from the female point of view. But it's like, oh, come on. You want to hold the rope. Okay, and she's doing the tug of war thing, with all the people and everything, and you're getting, she's coming out of her shell, so to speak,
Interesting. I have to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, with that, let's take another short break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Mr. Jack will snap your spine, cut you in half with a scaly vine.
Dad, are monsters real? A fairy tale born from a legend. A truth more terrifying than the tale.
Say a prayer for Daddy tonight, okay?
Only one man had the courage to stand against the forces of darkness. But when a secret that lay dormant for nearly a century is accidentally unearthed, a vicious avenger is summoned to fulfill an age-old prophecy.
Send us a demon from hell.
Think not quick before you die. Mr. Jack will steal your eyes. Mr. Jack will, Mr. Jack will.
Guided by a vision, the young boy stands between good and evil. Haunted by his family's secret past, he must face and fulfill his destiny.
Only Sean can stop this monster.
Give us the boy back.
Lurks in the shadows.
Mr. Jack will.
Fear has a new soldier.
Mr. Jack will.
And terror has a new name.
Mr. Jack will steal your soul.
Jacko.
My name is Katrina Gray, and I am an actress, director, writer, and you are watching Sinister Inclinations.
Hi, welcome back to Sinister Inclinations. It's our Halloween 2018 special, and we've been talking to Dave Trainor and Melanie McCurdie. Dave, what is it you've been working on lately? I know we mentioned Hold the Dark.
Yeah, I did a little bit in Hold the Dark, not very much. Some head casts is a body that they only use in the trailer. Then I'm working on, just finished up a season of a show called Black Summer, which is for Netflix. It's based on...
Z Nation?
Z Nation, yeah, or Z Nation.
Z Nation, Z Nation.
Yeah, and then out in the theaters, you can check some of my stuff on the movie called Alive. It's doing the circuit right now. And
what? Really?
Yeah, and also one called Knuckleball. And what else?
Mike Peterson, right?
Yeah, Mike Peterson and Rob Grant's show. And then also, I'm doing a show in Dominican Republic, which I'm not going down to, but it's for Netflix too. And then what else? That's about it, I think, for now. Yeah.
Okay, and you've also been working on the haunted attractions down at
Callaway Park, amusement park here. Yeah, we worked a little bit on that this year, and stuff like that. The haunted house.
Is there lots going on in the city about that, or is that
that's
a new thing, like a haunted house thing? Is that?
I think there is. I never follow any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but there's a lot of haunted houses. James probably knows more than.
Well, I know there's a terror train.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be coming through town
at the LRT.
Yeah,
that's
filled. The name of one. Yeah. You've got the Festival of Fear coming up in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Where again, Janine Bankhart's film Chimes will be showing,
and lots of other ones.
Yeah. Actually, Dead Fest. Is that not coming up as well?
That's February, isn't it? That's February. That's up in Edmonton too.
Yeah, and then there's Dead by Con, Edmonton's first horror convention.
No, that's
coming
February.
up in February.
Yeah,
and I think I think that it's this weekend.
Is it Scarefest or something?
Yeah, no, it's Dead Fest up in Edmonton. Is happening this weekend, I think.
Oh, there's a party, isn't it? Like a big party or something at White Avenue or something. I could be wrong. I was wrong once last year.
But so there's lots of things to do in Calgary.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have tonight for our Halloween special 2018. I'd like to thank my co-host Terry, our guests Dave Trainor and Melanie McCurdie for joining us. We will see you again in November sometime, when our guest will be Tom Bagley from the horror rock group Forbidden Dimension. You can find us on YouTube. We have our own channel, Sinister Inclinations, sininc.ca, SININC.ca, on Facebook and on Twitter. We will see you next time.